Since we're working on secondary sources this week, I wanted to show you what I'm doing right now and how I approach reading. Because as a history instructor, as someone who's working in the field, I regularly read secondary sources for history, whether they be articles or books or what have you, for different projects that I'm working on, for teaching, and all of those kinds of things. So I try to stay engaged with the field and with all of the historical thinking skills and strategies that we've been working on this semester. So even though we're reading articles this week, I'm going to show you a book that I've been reading because it's interesting, because it gives a new interpretation of Civil War history by expanding it into Mexico, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. And also because I'm working on a project to expand Latin American studies curriculum across multiple disciplines and classes. And so I'm thinking about the ways that U.S. history and Latin American history converge with each other, so that next time I teach U.S. history, I'll be able to present fuller pictures of what was going on in the American past or the Norte Americano past, by also looking at the histories of Mexico and other Latin American nations. So this book then, South to Freedom by Alice Baumgardner, is an excellent book. I highly recommend it. When I approach a book, this one is a hardback, it has a dust jacket. I like to look at not just the title, the author, the imagery, but I do judge a book by its cover a little bit, in that I want to see what's here on the back. So you will not be able to read that, but just to get a sense of, if you look at a book, you see the back, you see the inside of the dust jacket, and so on. Publishers like to have little blurbs that are about how good their book is. And so this one contains blurbs from David Blight, Patricia Nelson Limerick, Caleb McDaniel, and a couple of other very prominent historians. So people whose work is well respected, well known in the field of history. And so to have their names on the back of this book says something to me about its quality, and about what it will add to my understanding of the past, the kind of work that Dr. Alice Baumgardner has done. And I should mention, I know Dr. Baumgardner personally. We worked together on a symposium to research and write about the history of violence along the U.S.-Mexico border. And so just in terms of full disclosure, I know her work, and so I was excited to see this book come out. If you're looking at an article, some of the things you might want to look for, because they don't have a cover, they don't have a dust jacket, you might want to look for the abstract. So one of the two pieces that we read for Unit 3 had an abstract. The article that we're reading this week, if you read Van Hastings Gardner, has an introduction. It's not an abstract as such, but it's an introduction because his article was part of a book called What Caused the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. And so the editor of that book put little introductions to each essay. So those are some things that you can use to get clues about kind of where the book's coming from, what particular angle and issues it's going to engage with. And I think I said book and I meant article, either way. And whether you're using a book or an article, reading a book or an article, you can use Patrick Real's outside-in strategy or methodology for reading it. And so that's what I want to show you, because I do that a lot. So I'll get to that in the next little clip.